Hi everybody. So I'm just going to sit here for a second and give some people to blah, 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 blah. Starting again, shall I? I'm just going to give people time to jump on board. Oh, slow down. Where is my brain today? Thank God this is just the preface to what I'm actually going to chat about today. But we're just going to sit here. Hope that some people jump on. Don't mind me as I just touch the screen for a second and make sure that everything's all good. So that at any minute now, I'm just going to get started and talk about today's topic. So if you're here, say hello, press like, something like that, so I know you're here with me watching. Otherwise, if you're watching this back, you'll know that I'm happy to answer any questions at any point in time. I always get the tags in the videos and stuff. So be sure to ask any questions at any time. I can see a couple of people jumping on now. Hello. So look, what I'll do is I'll actually get started now, shall I? So hello everybody. I'm Sky Hanley, also known as the Limitless Nutritionist. You probably don't recognize me today with my hair all slicked back. It's very weird, this little tiny tuft way back there. I nearly had glasses on too, so I would have been in total incognito mode today. However, it is me, and we are here to talk about nutrition, which is always very exciting. It's very exciting. I'm trying to bring you guys lots of videos this week. Hello, I can see people popping in. Lots of videos this week because we have this really exciting program coming up, that kicks off next week. It's our 28-day road body reset, and irregardless of whether you're going to jump into that program or not, I want to be able to bring you some videos with some of the key points, great information that we get to share and talk about contained within that program as well, so nobody's missing out. Okay, obviously what we're able to do here in 10-15 minutes is a little different in the program when you've got 4 weeks with me. But today I decided what we should talk about is balancing out our own best days. All right, and when I write that, can I tell you something? When making Facebook Lives, let me teach you about marketing for a moment. When making Facebook Lives and videos and things, the idea is to write something that's really going to capture people, and people are going to want to jump on board and listen to what you're saying. And so when I say, let's balance out our own best days, to me it kind of sounds boring, doesn't it? But really, when you think about it, it's actually, the key to our success, and it's often part of where we're sort of falling off the wagon, right? Because either we don't know what we're meant to be doing, we're so bombarded with food information and knowledge and all the different things that are out there that we're so confused by what we're meant to be doing. We are all individual people, and if you listened to my video yesterday as well, we spoke about that a little bit, and the idea that all of our bodies work differently. Whether you're menopausal, whether you've got hormone issues as a 25-something-year-old, whether you're trying to lose some weight, whether you're super stressed out. We spoke about that yesterday too, and that is a big one. Let's just all put our hands up. We're all probably stressed out, busy individuals in one way or another. And even just your body and your digestive system and how it's going to react to particular foods. Because the way that maybe 1 calorie of carbohydrate works in me is not necessarily the same way 1 calorie of carbohydrate is going to work in somebody else. It all just depends on our systems, all of our systems, from digestive system to reproductive. As we said, our hormones very much affect the way that food is going to react contained within us. Our nervous system. So as I said, if we're super stressed out, it's just like if we have a disease spectrum, so if there's something else going on contained within you. And again, having a nutrition clinic, let me tell you, what I learned in that is that we're all walking around with something. Like literally, we could all say, maybe somebody has anxiety, maybe somebody has gut health issues, maybe somebody has arthritis, maybe somebody has an underlying condition or concern, even being overweight, plays into all of those factors. So wow, that's a lot of information to have to think about, right? And when you're trying to balance out your own best day, and again, because we're bombarded with so much information that's out there, it's super confusing, and that's why I like to talk to people about what I call the fundamentals of nutrition. Now, if you are lucky, and I'm not actually going to go through all of the fundamentals of nutrition today, I want to talk to you about actually how to balance that out in a day. So we're going to talk about meal to meal in a second, all right? But what I do want to say to you in relation to the fundamentals of nutrition, if you were lucky enough to see me come in, I taught this seminar with you guys already, and I am actually teaching it again in its entirety next week as part of the Reset program, which is really exciting. But what we learn about in there is baseline. All right. So before you do anything, before you go into yo-yo dieting, before you try the next fad or craze or, something you read on the internet or something that Jenny down the street, poor Jenny, I always throw her under the bus. I have no idea who she is, but Jenny down the street apparently is who always tells us to do something. But regardless, of all of those, that difference in information that is out there, if you do not start with a baseline, some amount of consistency, and what I actually like to call real food in real quantities, first and foremost, then how do you know what else you need to do to change your body? Or what do, as a nutritionist, how will I know what to tweak? And I've got some ideas, obviously dependent on hormones, stress levels, other diseases and concerns and things like that. However, in general population, for the most part, our problem isn't that things aren't working on us. Our problem is that we're not consistent enough with anything to give our body the resources, the time to chill the fuck out, excuse my language, and get used to a particular nutrition style. Now, as I said actually in yesterday's video, all nutrition styles have merit, all right? So I am not poo-pooing, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, it's not the nutrition style that is the issue. It's putting the appropriate nutrition style in the appropriate person. However, that may be unnecessary if we simply start with real food in real quantities. Once we know what real food in real quantities is going to react like in our bodies, maybe that's all we need. Maybe that's all we've needed all along, is simply real food in real quantities balanced out throughout the day, in a fashion, that enables our body and our metabolism to tick over, work for us, not against us. And none of these fads, these styles, this change, if we're constantly jumping from one thing to another, our body cannot, our body doesn't have a moment to breathe and go, okay, I know what we're doing here, let's go with this kind of thing. So sometimes, real food in real quantities and the consistency and having a balanced day is actually your first best place to start. And the good news about that is that maybe that's all you need, and maybe that's all you've ever needed, not everything else. All the other head noise that kind of goes with nutrition and the big world of nutrition, all right? So look, let's actually talk about balancing out a day. I often say, and I'm going to give you the super quick version of this today, I often say, whatever we do to ourselves first thing in the morning and whatever we do to ourselves last thing at night is how our metabolism is going to work. Other than that, what is super, super important is the consistency and the pattern in which we are eating throughout that day. So starting at the very beginning, yes, it is very boring. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now, I know I get to be the, glorified nutritionist that gets to pop on here and have a chat to you. If you don't know my full story, I'm going to give you one little snippet, all right? Because my full story is epically long. But one little snippet is that breakfast for me back in the day, 15 years ago, was a can of V and a cigarette. That was my breakfast. So you can assume the type of unhealthy person that I was. I was a shift worker. I was, an insomniac. I was 30 kilos overweight. I was unhappy in my own existence. All these sorts of things were going on, all right? One of the first things that I decided to change and implement on my way to better health was obviously eating breakfast. Quitting smoking, definitely. Quitting drinking V and soft drinks and things like that. But I thought, wow, I really need to get healthy. And I keep hearing this thing about breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So let's try and eat it. And I always thought that I was one of those people that didn't need to eat. too much throughout the day. I could just have 1.5 meals because I wasn't really hungry. Not being hungry is actually your body's response to starvation mode. So it's almost the opposite. If you are not hungry and you're not feeding yourself, what happens is your body switches off and says, I don't know what to do here. This is crazy. We're not eating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to every last bit of anything that I put in my mouth. So if you get up in the morning and the first thing that you do is you don't eat breakfast, and so maybe at about 11 or 10 or 11 o'clock once you arrive at work, you decide to have something then, and it could be, I don't know, like half a muffin and a coffee or something like that, your body is going to already be in starvation mode and freaking out and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to hold on to this entire muffin because I don't know when I'm going to eat again. I've already been awake for, 5 hours and I haven't eaten anything yet. So that's it. I'm going to hold on to all of it. All right. And you actually put yourself into a situation where your body will continue to do that throughout the rest of the day. So if you then don't eat again until maybe 2 or 3 o'clock and you go, fine, I'll have some lunch now and I'm going to scot that down at my desk super, super fast, your body will actually go, shit, I don't know what I'm doing here. We haven't really had a pattern of eating happening yet today, and this is only our second thing, and it's like 2 or 3 o'clock. Oh my goodness. And it'll freak out and it'll go, that's it. I'm going to hold on to every last bit of it. So often, not feeling hungry is actually a sign of the complete opposite. It often means that we're already in starvation mode. So back in the day for me, I was never hungry in the morning. I just wasn't, and a lot of people say that. I'm just not hungry in the morning. And it can mean a couple of things. Either you've eaten too late at night and you've eaten too much late at night, and eating late at night is not the devil. I eat quite late at night myself, but it's the types of things that we eat late at night that are super, super important. Alrighty, so either you've eaten too much or you've eaten too late, and then you've gone to bed on a full stomach. You haven't been able to digest everything that's going on in there. So when you wake up in the morning, you're already full because you haven't digested the stuff from the night before yet. So then you go into this pattern where you don't eat breakfast because, who needs to eat breakfast? I'm not really hungry anyway. I'll just eat when I get to work because I'm busy with the kids and I've got to get them off to school. And even though they're eating breakfast, but I won't, and whatever else, all right, the pattern might be. We are shooting ourselves in the foot from the word go by not eating breakfast. Breakfast ticks your metabolism off for good working order for the rest of the day. All right. So you must eat breakfast. Regardless of anything else, breakfast is the first most important thing you can do. If you skip breakfast, everything you're doing from then on, even if you are eating amazing health foods, you are still working in reverse for the rest of the day. So if there is anything that I can tell you about today, just to put it out there, what's important? Breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, especially if you have a weight loss goal, just for all of us, for your energy, for your hormone health, for your brain health and your nervous system, to fire that off and to fire off your metabolism for good working order throughout the rest of the day, okay? As I said, whatever you do to yourself last thing at night is also really, really important. Excuse me, I'm actually going to shift on my chair for a second. Oh, we'll get comfortable. I'm getting real with you now. That's why I've got to shift, because I'm getting real. All right, so whatever you do to yourself last thing at night. I said before, if we stuff ourselves silly or we eat too much too late and we just kind of have this meal fester in our tummy and it doesn't really digest, obviously that's not very good for us. But the other problem that we often have, again, especially in relation to, say, weight loss goals, is that if we're spiking our blood sugar later at night, now, carbohydrate is our body's natural energy source, all right? So it's a macronutrient. Macro needs large amounts and it's essential to life, and essential means we must consume it, all right? So carbs are not evil. It's the types of carbs that we're having. So if we're eating white rice, white bread, white pasta, white potato with dinner, as we so often do, maybe not me, maybe you, noodles or whatever it might be, okay? If we're eating those things, it actually spikes our blood sugar. We talked about this yesterday. I'm sure I said the word arse in yesterday's video. It spikes our blood sugar, all right? And then when our blood sugar is spiked at nighttime, insulin comes along, and insulin is our fat storing hormone, and it's going to go, num num, I'm going to stick this to your butt. Alrighty, so we really don't want to spike our blood sugar. And the other problem is that what happens after dinner? We eat dessert, and dessert is often white sugar laden, So again, we're spiking that blood sugar. That blood sugar has nowhere to go. Blood sugar is there so that when it's raised in a slow fashion, it gives us energy throughout the day. We can store some of that energy in our muscles. If there is too much of that energy or too much too quickly, as is the case when we eat white rice, white pasta, white bread, white potato, white sugar. White is the devil. It's not carbohydrates that are the devil. White is the devil. Spikes it up, and then we have nowhere to go. We have nothing to do with it. We're not about to run away. We're not about to, go on an amazing exercise journey at 9 p.m. at night, or most people don't. Let me know in the comments below if you actually do. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, so it's so important that whatever we do to ourselves first thing in the morning, making sure we're ticking our metabolism off for good working order throughout the rest of the day, from the moment that we get up to the moment that we go to bed. We want to make sure that you're not shooting yourself in the foot at the end of the night either, okay? And this is kind of like short amounts of information in relation to this topic. It's really, really interesting. I could talk about a balanced day, for 2 hours. I think I will next Wednesday, actually. So join the program. Now, lastly, what I want to bring up is obviously that in between those two times, like bookends, what we're doing throughout the day is super, super important. Now, I remember in my own story back in the day that I used to get ravenously hungry at particular times. So I'd either not be hungry at all, not be hungry, not be hungry, not be hungry, and then I'd be like, fuck, I need to eat something. Oh my God, I'm going to eat everything, blah, 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 whatever. And I hear a lot of people actually say that too in relation to, say, 5 or 6 o'clock at night. So again, if you're like in ravenous hunger mode at about 5 or 6 o'clock at night, or you're getting that like, man, I could just eat everything, and I've just gotten home from work, and I've, dropped off the kids or whatever's going on, and blah, 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 and like, I can eat everything. What's actually happening then is your body is screaming out and telling you that you have not fed yourself appropriately throughout the rest of the day. All right, so if you get that ravenous hunger in the afternoon or anything like that, or just when you get home from work, or, at 5 or 6 o'clock or something, and you're like, oh my God, I could eat everything, that's actually your body screaming out and saying, you have not fed me appropriately throughout the day. So what that sort of signifies is that perhaps you haven't got a good pattern of eating happening, all right? Now, I often use bodybuilders as an example. Bodybuilding isn't always the most health-filled sport, I will say that, but they do have a few good things going for them. I can see Nicole's watching. She's going to be freaking out that I'm saying this. No, it's fine. So what's actually good about bodybuilders? If you think about it, they are muscly, and what are most of our goals? We all want to, get toned up, put on a little bit more muscle, or just be a little bit stronger or healthier in ourselves, and we want to get rid of some excess body fat. They're often the two main goals for us all, and we might want to do one more than the other, or we might want to do both at the same time, or whatever it is. So if you were to look around a gym, often the bodybuilders are the people who look the appropriate way, right? They've got more muscle and they've got less fat. Now, they have to eat to feed that muscle, and they have to eat to tick their metabolism over to be that lean. Starvation does not work. Not eating does not work. It actually switches off your metabolism, and it switches off the chemicals in your brain telling you need to be hungry, all right? And sometimes it can throw them out of whack, and you'll have that ravenous hunger where it's like, I need to eat everything. Okay, so if we can take any lessons from the bodybuilders other than how an amazing tan could help, I definitely need a tan now, I can see. What we can actually take from bodybuilders is the idea that to feed the muscle, if we want muscle gain or to tone up as one of our goals, to get stronger, to feel good, have healthy bones and muscles, feel good in our frame, open up a bloody jar or walk a stairs without, getting puffed out, or, whatever your goal may be. And if you want to lean out as one of your goals, think about the bodybuilders. They feed themselves to get that way, all right? They don't starve themselves into it. They make sure that they are eating every 2 to 3 hours. And the thing is, I use them as the example, but irregardless of them, it is actually how our body works. I know that from experience. I know that from my own journey to lose 30 kilos. And I also know that from the health science perspective of it as well. All right, so you need to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Have that breakfast first thing in the morning. Make sure you're ticking your metabolism over. Lots of proteins and healthy fats, and make sure that you're not shooting yourself in the foot later at night either. Awesome. Look, I think that's it for me today. That's just a bit of a brief on how to balance out our own best days. I'm really excited to be, bringing you some more videos this week, and hopefully I'll see a bunch of you, in our 28-day program kicking off next week. I'm really excited about that, and if you'd like any more information, either hit Nicole up or Emily or myself, and we'd like to give you some more information in relation to that. It is nearly time, and we're definitely going to have balanced out best days. I'm going to teach you all about that, irregardless of your goals. All right. Bye, everybody.